I'm Farnoush Amiri, a congressional reporter with the Associated Press, and after weeks and weeks of Republican infighting, there is a Speaker of the House, and that person's name is Representative Mike Johnson of Louisiana. He was the fourth candidate to be nominated for Speaker in the past few weeks, and he got the job mostly based on the fact that no one has major issues with him yet. No one in the Republican conference has a personal vendetta against him, and he's mostly seen as a nice and affable guy. He is the first evangelical Speaker of the House, and he has extremely conservative views on many topics that impact Americans every day and that have been shown to be topics that Republicans have lost in recent elections. And those include his stance on abortion. He is extremely anti-abortion, and he helped facilitate what ended up being the Supreme Court's ruling on Roe v. Wade last summer. And he is also extremely anti-LGBTQ, seeing homosexuality as a crime. And beyond that, he had a very definitive role in former President Donald Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election. He was among a group of Republican lawmakers that helped sign a brief that went to the Supreme Court trying to overturn the election results, saying that there were major election fraud discrepancies in some of these pivotal battleground states that ultimately ended up not being successful. Speaker Mike Johnson is going to face the same inherent issues that plagued speakers that came before him, including Kevin McCarthy. He is having to do the intricate balancing act of falling into favor with his right flank, who at any point can bring up a motion to vacate with just a handful of members and remove him in the same way that they removed McCarthy weeks ago, while also being able to protect the Biden 18 district Republicans who are facing really, really tough races coming up next year and who cannot be seen voting on extreme party policies like abortion, like anti-LGBTQ issues, because those have proven to be really, really bad for Republicans when it comes to elections. And more importantly, he has to be able to fund the government. They have a deadline that's coming up in a few weeks, and a number of Republicans want to pass single subject appropriation bills in that time, and that's just not going to happen. So he has to find a way to make whatever continuing resolution that they could pass to fund the government past November 17th be acceptable for his right flank, while also protecting in moderates and while also being something that Democrats will accept. He's going to have to be able to, work and create a relationship with Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader. Johnson is also coming into this position as there is many wars happening across the world, and ones that America, is often seen as having a big role in. The assistance to Ukraine is something that the White House has requested replenishment of. That is something he and many Republicans in the House have been hesitant to do. They have been very critical of how much the U.S. has sent money to Ukraine in its battle with Russia. And more importantly, what they see as something that they want to do immediately is provide military assistance and replenishment of the Iron Dome to Israel, who they see as their longest ally, and who they see as in a pivotal war against Hamas at a time where the Middle East is in conflict, and they see, adversaries like Iran and Russia coming in and being able to benefit from the fact that the U.S. is in chaos, that the House hadn't had a speaker for 3 weeks. And so Johnson has to face those major hurdles as he comes into this role, and as he tries to find a way to get his party together on issues like Israel and Ukraine, despite his own convictions about that.